Hello guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be reading and reacting to the Am I the Arsehole subreddit, and we can decide together whether these people are really arses or not. And we're going to be playing a bit of Minecraft. I really want to get into the Nether today, find some blazes, get some blaze rods so I can start brewing potions, maybe get a bit of magma cream so I can get the fire protection potion? So I can get some netherite and ancient debris, I think it is. Just blow up the blow up the Nether a bit. But that's what I'm going to be doing today in my world. And let's get into some of our first Am I the Arsehole queries. Am I the arsehole for refusing to wake my brother up for work when he goes back to sleep? My brother is 22 and he's always been a deep sleeper. Even in his childhood, our parents have tried to shake him awake and it's still difficult to get him up. In his later years, he had started to sleep through his alarm, and even though we sleep in separate rooms, I could hear it go off, so I would go into his room to help him get up and turn it off. Last year, he got a job at a retail store. He loves his job and his co-workers. Unfortunately, recently, he's just been late a couple of times. What had been happening is, although he does wake up when his alarm goes off, he would fall back asleep afterwards. Now I know this happens to a lot of us, but after the second time it happened, he asked me if I could start checking on him to make sure he was going to work. I refused to do this. I told him that if he wanted to play the closing your eyes after the alarm goes off game, that was on him and not on me. I'm not going to go in there to wake him up every day. The other thing is, if I were to agree with this, he would start to blame me if he was late again. He would consider it my new responsibility, and he would get upset if I was to fail to wake him up. I refuse to have that responsibility when he's an adult now. I was talking with my mum, and she told me that it would be a nice thing to check on him. Now, truth be told, when his alarm does go off, I usually try to go back to sleep myself, but maybe she has a point. Maybe it would be courtesy to check on him. Am I the asshole for saying that this is something I shouldn't be doing? I'm really surprised by the mother's reaction in this in this person's story, because this person is obviously capable. I know they may have be a deep sleeper or whatever, but if they're capable of getting themselves a job, then they should be responsible for getting themselves up in the morning. I also agree with this person here because it would start to feel like it was your job and your responsibility to make sure your brother's awake, and I really don't think that's fair. So I definitely don't think that this person's the arsehole, and I feel like the brother really needs to invest in better alarm clocks or maybe get a daylight to make sure he does wake up for work, because it's no one else's responsibility but your own to make sure that you get yourself up to go to work on time. So this person is definitely not an arsehole. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Stay with me here, guys, because this one, this one sounds a bit dodgy. Am I the arsehole because my mum is mad as I don't want to clean her dirty sex sheets? My mum travels for work and is often away for months at a time. When she does come home, she usually flies in late, so she likes her room to be clean and her bed to be freshly washed and made. I'm happily to oblige because she's letting me live at my home for free whilst I save up for my own place, and it's a simple request to just want the house clean, plus she's my mum. But she's been dating this guy, and he was over sometimes when she's in town. The last time she was there was Thanksgiving, and this guy spent the whole night at our place. I know that him and my mum were intimate because I could hear it from my room. Yeah, that's gross. But she's an adult and I'm living in her house, so it is what it is. Anyways, she leaves to go back to work the next day without cleaning her room or her sheets, and now she'll be coming home next week for the holidays. I told her that I don't feel comfortable cleaning her dirty sheets because I don't want to touch those dirty sheets that have potential bodily fluids on them. She got real mad and was saying that it's not a big deal, as housekeepers in hotels clean dirty sheets all the time. But I stood 10 toes down that I'm not touching those sheets, even with gloves. She's still annoyed, but she said she'll do it herself. But I don't understand how she does not understand that I actually feel offended that she'd expect me to handle those sheets in the first place. Am I the arsehole? Oh, that's not nice at all. I actually think it's this person's very mature to begin with, to be like, okay, they're an adult, this kind of thing's gonna happen, and I live here for free. So fair play for them to have that attitude to start with. But I don't think that they're an asshole, because it's simply, how hard is it for the mum just to remove the sheets? If she wants the bed clean, that's fine, but she should just remove the sheets herself and then the person can clean them up anyway. I think that's a good compromise, really, if the mum just put them in the machine and just let them get on with it. But I don't understand the hotel argument. Yeah, I get it that hotel cleaners clean rooms regardless of who stays there. But at the end of the day, this is this person's actual mum. So I can fully understand why you wouldn't want to touch those sheets. So yeah, this person's not the arse. Let's get into our next one. Would I be the arsehole for telling my ex-husband's fiancé he's using the diamond from my ring from our marriage? Ex-husband and I have been divorced for 2 years, separated for 4. During mediation, he wanted the 2.5 carat diamond back from the engagement/wedding ring he gave me, and I agreed. We co-parent our 2 kids relatively well, but overall, he terrifies me and can be very vengeful. I hope he's nice to whatever partner he's with now, and treats them better than he did me. He recently got engaged to someone he's only been dating for roughly 6 months. The kids have no idea he was going to propose. They've been living together for the past 3 months. The way I found out was through the kids, whereas I prefer to give co-parenting heads up on things that would impact the kids. My daughter voluntarily said that the diamond looks a lot like mine. It did have very distinct occlusions. If I see his new fiancé and confirm that the diamond is my old one, part of me wants to be like, dang girl, he used the same diamond. You deserve better. But then again, it would be a bit petty and could stir some unwanted contention. If I was in her shoes though, I'd want to know. My inclination is that he wouldn't disclose that to her about the ring. What would you do? If I say anything, will I be the arsehole? Yeah, I think this person would probably be an arsehole if they do say something, because it just seems a bit unnecessary. Also, in the post like I read out, she said that she's terrified of this person. So, if she's so terrified of him, why would she intentionally want to provoke him? Especially as he's looking after the kids and he's meant to be vengeful. I think it's better to not be provocative of someone that's supposedly terrifies you. So I don't think that this person should say anything. I think it would definitely be better for the kids' sake to to not say anything in this case. You may want to, and you may want to get your own back at your ex-husband. But at the end of the day, this person has kids and they've got to be the number one priority, and you want to keep them safe at all times. And if this person is really terrifying, then you definitely don't want to provoke them. And if she did tell the new fiancé, the fiancé would probably just think that she's being bitter and jealous, really. So there's just no point. It's just a lose-lose situation to say anything. You may as well just forget and move on the best you can. Let's move on to the next one. Am I the arsehole for not lying to my kids about Christmas presents? My mother-in-law/father-in-law are giving their 4 children/spouses, 7 in total, and 4 grandchildren a trip to Disneyland for Christmas. Before she purchased the gift, she checked with each couple/child to see if we would accept the gift. Each of us obviously said yes. So now, my mother-in-law has spent $15,000 for 9 adults and 4 children to spend a week at the happiest place on earth. Just a few days before Christmas, my sister-in-law has decided that she does not want her children, aged 7 and 3, to receive the gift on Christmas, but would like to wait until Easter. Her reasoning is that her children deserve to open more than one small gift on Christmas, and she doesn't want to deal with the excitement of the present for 6 months. She would also like my children, 7 and 5, to hide the gift from their cousins until Easter. I have told my sister-in-law that my children will not lie just because she feels entitled to decide when and how she'll receive a gift, especially since she's already agreed to the gift some months ago. Additionally, I said I won't let my children lie because she doesn't know how to parent her children in a way that makes it easier to anticipate something exciting other than hide it from them completely. Am I the arsehole for not agreeing with my sister-in-law's plan? I think the sister-in-law has got this completely wrong. The grandparents have spent $15,000 for a whole family vacation, and that sounds amazing. And a part of going to Disneyland is the excitement in the build-up of going. So the sister-in-law wants to deny her own children of being excited to go on holiday. That seems completely ridiculous. I remember when I was a child and we were going on a family holiday, and I would create a calendar in my room of days until the holiday. like a whole countdown, and you'd get up in the morning and you'd tick a day off every single day until a week left or so, and each day it gets more and more exciting because you know the holiday's just around the corner and it's something to look forward to. So I really don't understand why the sister-in-law doesn't want to enjoy that part of the build-up. And it's also not her place at all to say anything because she didn't even pay for the holiday. The grandparents paid for it. So it should really be up to the grandparents when they want to let the grandchildren know that they're going on holiday. It makes no sense to me. And this person's teaching their children good morals by teaching them not to lie. And they shouldn't be lying to their cousins about it. So I feel like this person's not in the wrong, and I feel like the sister-in-law's a bit out of place. And I guess the compromise here would be the grandparents to gift the tickets at Christmas, so there's so there's no way out of it for the sister-in-law. But the sister-in-law should really have a look at herself here, because denying the kids the excitement of going to Disney, I don't really agree with that. Let's move into our next one now. Am I the arsehole for continuing to speak in public when my friend told me not to because it's embarrassing? So let's preface this. We're on vacation in Japan, and he's been lecturing on me on Japanese culture like he's some sort of guru on their culture. Annoying, but whatever. I don't mind being silent on the trains, but when I try and talk to him at the mall, where everyone's talking, he tells me to shut up because it's embarrassing for him and that I'm being too loud. I have a loud speaking voice, by the way. So, am I the arsehole? I guess this really depends on how loud this person is. If they're not reading the room, especially in Japan where everyone's very quiet and polite, keeps themselves to themselves, and it's not normal to be extremely loud or massively extroverted in public places. So if this person's being really obnoxious and shouting, and the friends told them a few times to like calm down a bit or be a bit quieter, and this person isn't, then they probably are being a bit of an asshole. But if it's just on the off occasion, then it's probably not too bad. I was watching a video recently about the culture of Japan and things that they do differently there. For example, some locals they find it offensive if people aren't wearing masks on public transport, even though that's something we did during the pandemic and obviously not doing now. But they carry on with those traditions, and I guess they were always wearing masks before it was before it was a thing during the pandemic anyway. So when people weren't wearing masks, people were getting offended. And they also say how they really don't like it when a big crowd comes in and is very loud, talking loudly on phones, on FaceTime and things like that. So I guess this person's just trying to be respectful of their culture. But I also wouldn't say you're an asshole, because I guess if you're trying to tone it down, you're being quiet anyway, then maybe your friend's just being a bit too over the top. Am I the arsehole for making other gamblers at my table lose money? This happened a few months ago, but I told this story to some friends yesterday and they were pretty split 50-50 on whether I was an arsehole or not. I'm playing Ultimate Texas Hold'em at the casino, and while you don't need to know the details on how to play, you do need to know that there are multiple bets on the table, and in order to win the ant bet, that a dealer must qualify with a pair or better. You also have the play bet, which is just your hand versus the dealer's hand. You aren't playing against the other players, you're playing against the dealer, like blackjack or other table games. I don't know what the other players are holding, but I do know that I have two pairs and the dealer only has one pair. He does not see his pair, so he starts going through the table and giving players their ant bet back, because he did not qualify. I stop him and say, "No, you did, you have a pair of threes." He looks at his hand again and goes, "Oh, I did," and apologizes to the table. The other players immediately get angry at me. He flips over my cards, two pairs. I win $100 because of my bets, 50 from the ant and 50 from the play bet. The other players lose $30 and $50 respectively because they lost both the ant bet and the play bet. Now here's the issue. If I did not call out the dealer's hand, I would have only won $50, and the other players would have won $15 and $25. They would have won their play bets because their high card beat what the dealer thought he had. Usually, you never want to be the one that costs players money, but I did not know what they had. I just acted instinctively when I saw that he was handing out the ant bets back. I don't know if the dealer would have caught his mistake because he didn't complete his routine, and some people have said to me, Eye in the Sky would have caught the issue and come down and compensated me for the money anyway. I also know that if I was in the last position to show my cards, I wouldn't have called out the pair because I would know what the players had and I wouldn't want them to lose. I'm not sure how this would have worked out if the dealer had already given back their money, because these type of issues are extremely rare. The two other players left the table because what they said was poor table etiquette by me. I'm not a novice, and I know there are some table etiquette things when playing blackjack and crabs and such. As I said, I talked to some friends last night at a party and half agreed with me. I should only worry about money and not the entire table. Others said that I shouldn't be doing the dealer's job for him and that a push is better than a potential loss for the others on the table. Am I the arsehole for correcting the mistake? I don't. I don't really think that this person's an arse. I don't think it's the table etiquette situation really. I mean, it was the dealer's mistake, and it was about to cost. It was going to cost him money, and I'm pretty sure most people on the table probably would have done the same thing if they were in this person's shoes. It's just a bit unfortunate that everyone else lost out on money in this situation. But again, you're at a table that's gambling, so there's always going to be a risk of you losing money anyway. So I don't really understand how they could be too mad. I get it; it's not fair, but they weren't going to win anyway. It was a dealer mistake, and like they said, the eye in the sky probably would have noticed, and he would have been recompensated, or maybe the dealer would have been informed that he's done something wrong, and the bets could have been recalled anyway. So I don't think it's this person's fault really for querying the dealer on his mistake. And really, like, the person may have saved the dealer's job in some ways. If he made a mistake and it was caught up, that could have been a warning for the dealer. So he's just helping him out, and the other players should be expecting to lose money in a casino. You can't win them all. It's all part of the gambling experience, really. I have very limited gambling experience, but I remember last time I played, I was called over by by a lady, and she wanted to play me to join the table, so I was playing, and I had no idea what I was doing on blackjack, and she kept being like, "Right, you gotta play now." So I'd play. I'd end up being my cards would end up being bankrupt, and everyone else on the table kept winning. And she kept saying, "Oh yeah, you're saving the table." And I was thinking, this lady is just absolutely having me here. But what can you do? It was part of the fun of being in the casino, I guess. Right, let's move on to the next one. Am I the arsehole for eating 2 pizza slices? I'm a teacher at a high school. Tonight there was a big school event. There were 6 boxes of huge pizzas. When I got there, there was a lot of pizza left. So I went up, grabbed 2 slices, and thought nothing of it. A student told me, 2 slices? Damn. And then I noticed everyone else only grabbing one. 10 minutes later, the pizza was gone. I felt bad that I grabbed 2 slices when I noticed a lot of people didn't get any. Well, what do we think, guys? I'm not sure that this person's an ass. They could have been a new teacher at the school. But I'm guessing from the reaction, if they just went up to it and took 2 slices, they've never been to an event like this before. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it. It's a bit sad that some people didn't get any pizza, but by this person taking two, it only means one person didn't get any. But the thing is, this could be a bad attitude towards it, because if everyone had the same attitude, then only half the people would have a slice of pizza. So maybe this person is in the wrong for taking 2 bits. But I guess if loads of people didn't have any, then in fact it probably isn't this person's fault because there wasn't enough ordered. That's how I'd see it. So I don't think this is particularly bad. So I mean, this person probably isn't the arse. I think we need more context for this one. But I'm going to go with not the arsehole. And let's move on to our next one. Am I the arsehole for saying this to my wife? Me and my wife have a dog which isn't perfectly raised. It was hers, then became ours once we got together. I am an animal lover, but my approach towards them is strict love, meaning that I'm both really loving, but when I need my free space, I am rather strict to them, meaning I just don't allow them to do whatever they want, without causing any harm to them, of course. The dog has a resource guarding problem. My wife just leaves it doing what it wants, or uses treats to take something dangerous from its mouth. The dog does not do that when I'm alone in the apartment, and I literally go and take whatever I want from it, especially if it takes my slipper or something. Once I told my wife, she started being mad, to which I replied, if you asserted more dominance to the dog, it probably wouldn't have developed such behaviour, to which I recommend us both finding the best approach, but she simply doesn't listen. Am I the arse for being strict with the dog? Maybe this person could have worded it a bit differently instead of saying this person didn't assert enough dominance on the dog. I mean, that's probably not the best way to go about it. They're probably right that the dog maybe needs some additional training, like drop it commands or leave it, instead of doing like food trading, sorry. But I don't think that this person should have said to his wife or girlfriend that it was her fault as she didn't assert any dominance. That's just not the correct wording, really. That's never going to end well and always will start an argument. But I think this person is right. If he's managing to get things off the dog without having to trade every time, then they could probably train it and teach it new ways. So I don't think this person's a complete arse, but I do think they shouldn't speak to their girlfriend in that way, especially if it's her dog on a long term, because that's basically saying that she didn't treat it or train it right to begin with, and that's never going to go down well. I think we're going to leave the video there, guys, but thank you very much for tuning in. If you're still with me, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and thank you for joining me. I know it's been a while. I've been quite busy with work and I haven't had the opportunity to make videos as much as I'd like, but I've enjoyed doing this one again, so hopefully I can get back into it and hopefully I can pick up some new subscribers. I hope people are watching this and enjoying the content. But for now, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye bye.